I want to speak with you about selling a practice. First thing is you have to map it out. If you're going to sell it to a buyer that isn't a physician, for example, the buyer is going to need a healthcare clinic license. That's a state issue, a Florida issue. It takes time to get one. Lots of sellers and buyers come to us and they're prepared to do the deal. They've got documents, sometimes even signed, and they've never gotten the license. Well, it's very frustrating because it can take 90 to 120 days to get the healthcare clinic license. So you have to plan that out. Second thing is, in terms of timing, managed care organizations. If what you're selling is the assets of your practice, then the buyer's going to need to get on the plans that you're on. If you're the seller, you're on Humana, United, Cigna, all these plans. The buyer's also probably going to want to be on those plans, but it's going to take time for them to get on. If they buy the stock, it's a quicker way for them to get into business with those payers, but lots of buyers don't want to buy stock because of the liability associated with it. They sometimes prefer to buy the assets. But if they do that, the problem is they have to get on managed care plans. It takes time, 12 months, 18 months, not uncommon in Florida. The third thing you got to look at is your team. Do you have the right advisors? Do you have lawyers and accountants that have routinely advised purchasers of medical practices or sellers of medical practices? If you haven't, if you don't have those people, you're going to learn. They're going to learn. It's going to take longer. It's going to cost you more money. You need to know, as a seller, am I selling the stock or am I selling the assets? If you're selling the stock, that's the best position for you to be in from a tax perspective because you're going to get capital gains treatment on the purchase price. And it's quicker and easier for you. You're just selling the whole kit and caboodle. It's more of a risk issue for the purchasers. They typically don't like to buy stock because when they buy it, they get the liabilities associated with your practice. And for example, Medicare, if the person is assuming the provider number, there's no way to get rid of the liability that existed even before the buyer bought your practice. So it's a very sensitive issue for buyers. You need to sort that out on the front end with your advisors. The other thing is, are you going to stay or are you going to leave? Buyers typically want sellers to stay involved for a while to deal with patients staying in the practice. Patient retention is a big issue, and buyers usually expect that they're going to lose a chunk of patients, maybe as much as half. That can be minimized if the seller stays in the game for a period of time, typically at least 6 months. And you're going to need to work out issues like your compensation. Let's talk about one of the issues that is most near and dear to buyers, and that's non-competes. You can expect if you're selling your practice, you're going to be prevented from practicing medicine in the area where your practice is established. How long? In Florida, and this is an issue of state law, in Florida, the law allows you to be prevented from practicing medicine for up to 5 years. That's in connection with the sale. So you can know that you're going to deal with all of these issues when you go to sell your practice. You're definitely going to want to take about a year to plan your practice sale because the value of the practice is driven off of things like, well, how busy were you for the year before? What was your revenue? What's your debt? What kind of obligations do you have? Do you have any liabilities out there? You're going to need to clean those things up. You're going to need to enhance the value. It's going to take 12 months to do it. So prepare, get your team in place, and take the time that you need to get it done right.